I want to start with a story about QR codes. These were invented in 1994 by Masahiro Hara at Dentsu Wave, a subsidiary of Toyota. Their initial purpose was purely industrial, to track vehicle parts during manufacturing. To discuss the journey of QR code from its inception up to worldwide use, I would like to use the technology adoption life cycle. This is a model by Jeffrey Moore that describes how technologies spread through different groups of people over time. The model divides consumers into 5 distinct segments based on their willingness and motivation to adopt a new technology. First, we start with the innovators. These comprise 2.5% of the population. And these individuals like technology and often alike mga scientists, sila yung mga inventors. They embrace risk and they are drawn to novelty itself. Kadalasan, narinig natin sila yung mga nagsasabi, pare may bago akong na-discover, gusto mong malaman o gusto mong makita. Next to it are the early adopters, which comprise 13.5% of the early market, of the whole model. And together with the innovators, they comprise the early market of the population. So these are the visionaries. These are the technopreneurs seeking strategic advantage to the technology that the innovators have developed. Usually sila yung nakikita ng potential ng technology na i-adapt sa market. Minsan, or usually nagsasabi sila, ay bago to, gusto ko to. No? Or pwede rin sinasabihin nila, I will change the world through this technology. Going forward, next to it are the early majority or the pragmatists. This is the largest population of the model. This large group consists of the risk-averse and adapt only when a technology is already proven by the early market population. Sila yung mga gustong mag-adapt pag nasasabi ng market o ng mga scientists and mga technopreneurs na valuable na yung product na ito. And next to it is the late majority, which comprises 34%. They are more conservative, skeptical, and adopt only when technology becomes a well-established standard. And finally, the last is 16% and are the most resistant to change. They adopt to new technology when there's no other alternative. Sila lang sasabing, saka na yan, okay na ako kung anong meron ako. And if you could notice, 16% of the laggards also equivalents to the total of the innovators and the early adapters, na 13.5% and 2.5%. So most of the time, technology development comes from the left to right direction, with one category influencing category to its right. In the graph, aside from the categories, we will see gaps between them. Gaps represent hurdles for the technology to face or to move from one group to another. And the significant gap for this is the chasm. It's the gap between the early market and the mainstream market. Going back to the case of Masahiro Hara, for a long time, QR codes remained in the early market within the confinement of his company. The mainstream market, starting with the early majority, the everyday consumers, and business outside automotive didn't see compelling reason to adopt them due to lack of awareness, technological barriers, and of course, aesthetic concerns. Not until after 30 years when pandemic came, which served as an invisible hand that pushed transactions through QR, and now you could see QR codes anywhere as a medium for every transactions. Another point I would like to highlight is the gap, the smaller gap within the early market. This gap is between the innovators and the early adapters or the visionaries. And I think this is also very important to us kasi mostly sa atin sa population ng conference na ito are either visionaries and innovators. While the largest is the chasm, actually addressing the small gap within the early market is a key preparation of crossing the big chasm. The often reason technology not reaching reaching the mainstream market is product market fit. They cannot simply define the minimum viable product for their minimum viable audience or their market. Gusto nila yung technology nila pag kinakausap namin or sometimes through our collaboration, tinatanong namin, ano ba yung gusto niyong gawin sa product na ito? Sasabihin nila, lahat pwedeng gawin yan. So parang sinasabi, we've got this all for you. So parang, yun yung mga nangyayari. But often, yan po yung isang malaking problem. So when I formally got involved with the family business, my mom, Maridan Sollesta, even without formal pharmacy education, is a passionate entrepreneur who started our manufacturing company, Maridan Industries. She encouraged me to attend pharmacy school 10 years after it was established. After taking it, or after finishing the education, I told myself that in order for a company to become innovative and become more competitive, we need to think differently. We need to invest in research and development to make new products that are differentiated and at the same time innovative. Industry and academic collaboration was the first solution that came into my mind. 2 years later, I founded a spin-off company, Galenx, whose aim is to develop innovative products to be used by health professionals in health facilities and at your homes. In 2015, when I started working with Dost-Philippines scientists at University of San Agustin, Dr. Janelle Saludes and Dr. Doralyn Delisay, there was no academe-industry collaboration at the time. So I braved my way to meet them, and I asked if there's an opportunity for us to collaborate. And by partnering with scientists, our innovators, the experts in technology, lead us to wonderful events successively. Our first funding from the United States Agency for International Development allowed us to study sources of honey in the Philippines. As many of you know, honey has been recognized for its beneficial properties for centuries. Our studies conducted all over the Philippines to sample different honeys that are available here. We delve deeper in the specific characteristics of Philippine honey, especially the stingless bee. And we found that this stingless honeybee has significant antibacterial activity even against drug-resistant staphylococcus and high antioxidant properties. And these benefits are linked to its rich content of flavonoids and phenolics. Notably, we have identified that isohamnitin as a key compound contributing to its antibacterial action. A year after, we received a first DOST PCHRD grant together with the University of San Agustin to study kadyos, a usual ingredient for a famous Ilonggo dish KBL, or Kadyos Baboy Langka. Our research in collaboration with University of San Agustin investigated kadyos for antibacterial properties against multi-drug resistant Staphylococcus aureus and other skin pathogens. We found that an acetone six compounds, the rain, formonenitine, lactic acid, cruciferin, iaminin A, and biocanin A as likely responsible for this. These findings suggest that kadyos seeds hold promise as source of new antimicrobials against skin pathogens. In July 2023, we also established the first 3D bioprinting facility in the Philippines for use in biocompatibility research. Animal testing is a regulatory requirement to register our products to the Philippine FDA. But due to the COVID and also with supply chain disruption, we saw an opportunity to adopt this technology here in the Philippines. Our personnel were trained at the University of San Agustin to close the skills gap needed to run the state-of-the-art equipment. Dr. Al Serafica and Dr. Doralyn Delisay helped us in realizing the project. This aims to make lab-grown human skin equivalents using human keratinocytes and fibroblasts, and these would lessen species variation as animal testing does not necessarily show result equivalent to humans. We also take this project as an initial step to direct our long-term interest in regenerative medicine. And recently, our Azúcar project with Dr. Janelle Saludes is another simultaneous ongoing project that utilizes biotechnology platforms to produce high molecular weight hyaluronic acid from locally sourced molasses, a byproduct of robust sugar industry in the region. As Filipino life expectancy increases due to improved access in healthcare and advanced products, so too does the demand for healthy aging, such as joint supplements, wound remedies, and eye and skin care, make it a cornerstone of health and wellness for our aging population. So plotting the mentioned technologies, the 4 technologies earlier, starting from the most recent, the SUCAR project and the HSE project is still in the optimization stages. The good thing about this collaboration is that we were involved in the early stages, even during the proposal writing of the project. The collaboration closes the gap between the innovators and the visionaries, and it helps technology to be translated to products and services in higher chance of success. Ito ang ambag namin sa paglikha ng kayamanan para sa ating bansa. Academe provides technical knowledge, and industry imparts expertise in market and navigating regulatory requirements. At this stage, partners could build the minimum viable product and get feedback from potential target markets. So sometimes innovators become too biased with what they discover and tend to overspecify and wait for the perfect vision of the product to launch in the market. But the Lean Startup by Eric Rice, if you have read this book, says otherwise, that products should be made available to users to soonest as possible while experiencing successive iteration through build, measure, learn principle. For the remaining two technologies, the Kadios project has crossed the early part of this mainstream market and at an early majority stage. The project produced a topical product with a brand named Skivios, meaning skin invigoration with Kadios. It has been notified to the FDA and is being used to prevent acne breakouts. And if you want to see more studies about the product, you may approach our poster at the back of this venue, and also our products. On the other hand, our first collaboration with University of San Agustin about honey is on its peak in entering the mainstream market. The Honey Project publication has served as the basis of the product Honel Wound Gel and is now available in local pharmacies nationwide, such as Mercury and Rose, and also in online shops. Honel has further expanded from its initial wound gel variant to 2 more products, the scar lightening and the wound spray. This is a good demonstration of the build, measure, learn principle. So today, Galenx continuously promotes these health products to mainstream market through medical professionals who recommend and prescribe our medicines. To further clad our effort to penetrate the mainstream market, we are actively partnering with various medical organizations in local and national events, product presentation, roundtable discussion, medical and dental missions, and of course, mainstream media and social media promotions. These are all possible with comprehensive programs initiated by the Department of Science and Technology, and it builds an enabling environment where companies from countryside can compete nationally. Kung kaya nila, kaya rin natin dito. So what we witnessed earlier is just a scratch on the surface of the more possibilities to come. I believe that God made the earth full and there is enough and to spare. Good use of science will allow humans to further access the earth's fullness and lead them to prosperity. Lastly, technology creation to address health needs through bioscience is rewarding, but the core component of success is people development. The innovative and creative ideas would come up from effective collaboration and eventually lead to wealth generation. In Galenx, we believe that healthy people are happy people. So thus, it is true that healthy Filipinos are happy Filipinos and at the same time, wealthier Filipinos. Thank you at magandang umaga po.